How's it going, you guys? AZPlow21 back again with another episode of our UFC Save and WMMA 5. And here today we have UFC Fight Night CONDIT versus WOODLEY 2, our welterweight main event containing two former UFC champions in CONDIT and WOODLEY. Our next episode will contain Luke Rockhold taking on Phil Davis. Phil Davis coming off beating Israel Adesanya in his light heavyweight debut. As a matter of fact, we're making our way towards UFC 302, Naurdiev versus Luque 2. 4 title fights on that one, main evented by the rematch between Ismail Naurdiev and Vicente Luque. That should be a good one. Let's go ahead and take a look at our rankings as of last week. Philip DeFries getting a big win, moving up to number 3. Rumble Johnson up to number 5. Blades and Ngannou both moving down in the process. At light heavyweight, not too much going on. Middleweight, Braga Neto into the rankings. At welterweight, Koreshkov into the rankings. Ben Askren up to number 6. At super lightweight, not too much going on. Jerry Olson, Abdul Kalikov, a little bit of movement there. At lightweight, Christian Lee up to number 15. Sarukian down to 19. Christos Giagos in at number 22. At featherweight, nothing going on. At bantamweight, we have O'Malley up to number 11. Sterling down to number 15. Just moving accordingly, basically, these guys. Maicon Sylvan, number 20 in the flyweight division. Signed this guy out of ACA. He was their champion for a good while, so hopefully he can make a little bit of a splash in the flyweight division. At featherweight, Sinead Kavanaugh moves down after losing to Macy Chiasson, who is writing her own kind of, thing over in the featherweight division. She might be looking at a title shot in the near future. Amanda Nunes retired and then unretired. I was able to convince her to do so, and then I talked her into re-signing with us. She lost to Aspen Ladd at UFC 300 for her bantamweight championship. She still has her featherweight tie. No, we actually stripped it. That's right, because it's Maknat Kina and Cyborg for the featherweight title. So she doesn't have a title anymore. So she's probably looking at rematching Aspen Ladd, but she's gone for about 4 months or so. So that's gonna take quite some time for that match to take place. Jojo Calderwood moving down a little bit at flyweight, and then at strawweight, Xiaonan Yan into the top 10 after a big win over Virna Jandiroba. That brings us to today. Appreciate you guys, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch. Links are down in the description for below for my Twitch and my Twitter. I also have a Patreon if you guys want to support me that way as well. It's very much appreciated, you guys. Let's go and get into it. CONDIT versus WOODLEY. Show taking place in Maryland. Let's get into it. Leah McCourt taking on Julia Avila to open up our prelims here today. At 145, Leah McCourt a big favorite in this one. And she does get a unanimous decision victory here today over Avila. Peter Barrett taking on Sugar Shane Young at 155. And it is Peter Barrett getting the win. 16th win of his career. He's now 5-3 in the UFC. Nad Narimani taking on Teruto Ishihara, I believe at 145. Indeed at 145. And it's Narimani getting the unanimous decision, the 17th win of his career. He's now 7-4 in the UFC. Magomed Yunusalau taking on Ryan Hall at 145. The ever experimental Ryan Hall, the jiu-jitsu wizard, hoping to get another win here today. And he does. Guillotine submission in round number 2. He's now 13-4 in the division. He was coming off 4 straight losses, so he needed another big win badly. All right, Hector Sandoval taking on Eugene Sandoval at 125. Californian and Australian, both with the same name, going at it. And it's Eugene Sandoval getting the submission in round number 1. Very happy to have won in his UFC debut is Eugene Sandoval. Yuta Sasaki taking on Christopher Carpenter, also at 125. Sasaki just barely making that flyweight limit. And it is Christopher Carpenter in a fantastic fight with a TKO body kick in round number 2. He's now 5-0 in the UFC. Yeah, debuted at 5-1, and he's now 10-1. Surprised that he is not ranked. Hopefully he is. I mean, he beat a ranked guy in Sasaki, so you'd imagine he would be. Moving on, Samara Santos taking on Sabina Masso now in the women's bantamweight, flyweight division, as a matter of fact. Masso is a little bit of an underdog, and with good reason. Samara Santos with the submission in round number 2, the 19th win of her career. The Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung, taking on Daniel Torres at 145. Torres a big favorite, the young guy trying to dispatch of the Korean Zombie, and he does just that. 2 minutes and 41 seconds is all it takes, and he's now 6-1 in his young UFC career and getting rid of a legend like Korean Zombie. Stipe Miocic taking on Junior Albini in our final prelim. Stipe at heavyweights had a pretty tough time as of late. Number 20 in the division, coming off 3 straight losses. He needs to get his act right pretty much. Taking on Junior Albini, who is not ranked, and coming off 3 straight wins out of the PFL. And Stipe gets a unanimous decision victory after 3 rounds, so good for him. He wants to fight Stefan Struve next. Interesting call out. First main card fight, Beneil Dariush taking on Dan the Hangman Hooker at 155, and Dariush knocks out Hangman Hooker. Dariush 15-7-1 in the UFC. He was on 3 straight losses, so this was a much needed win for him, and he gets it here today. Ally Quinta taking on Mark Jakashi in the super lightweight division. Ally Quinta is the underdog, but he's had a pretty good run as of late. Went over Rory McDonald, and Mark Jakashi on the other side, number 6 in that super lightweight division, coming off straight losses, AJ McKee and Pavel Kilek. Jakashi is the small favorite, and it is Jakashi getting the knockout win in round number 1. Ally Quinta will not now. He will not be fighting for the super lightweight championship, sadly. Moving on, Rafael Lovato Jr. taking on Toyoshige Hidaka. Rafael Lovato Jr. has fought for the title against Darren Till. Lost to Costa, beat Theodorou, then lost to Fabian Edwards. Now has a tough task in Toyoshige Hidaka, 4-0 in the UFC. Last win over Rafael Carvalho. And looking to get a big win over a veteran like Rafael Lovato Jr., and he does get it. A poor fight, but he gets a split decision win here today nonetheless. Moving right along, Brian Bouland taking on Henry the Messenger Cejudo. This is Brian's debut fight in the UFC after being the Bellator champion for quite a while. High-level national popularity already. Taking on the former double champ in Henry Cejudo, who's on a 4-fight losing streak. Really needs to get a big win, get something going. Otherwise, he might be looking at getting cut if he gets another loss. But it's Henry Cejudo taking out the Bellator trash, so to speak, with a unanimous decision victory. A big win for him. He needed a win, surely. And not the best debut for Brian Bouland. Moving right along to our co-main event, and it is Dominic Cruz taking on Gilbert Melendez, a couple of veterans, couple legends of the sport of MMA. Dominic Cruz is a huge favorite in this one. I believe this is not his featherweight debut, is it? I believe it is. Yep, his featherweight debut, Dominic Cruz, and he gets a split decision. Interesting. Over Gilbert Melendez in his featherweight debut. Melendez has retired from MMA. All the best to him after going 26-13. As we are now at our main event of the evening. A couple of 40-year-olds in TYRON Woodley and the natural-born killer, Carlos Condit. We can take a look at what they've been up to. Carlos Condit, still number 12 in the division. He's riding a 4-fight winning streak, as a matter of fact. So he's doing very well for himself. TYRON, on the other hand, coming off 2 straight losses. Fought Luque for the title and then lost to MVP. In his third straight main event. No. He did not main event that pay-per-view. But nonetheless, a big main event here for TYRON Woodley. Let's get it going. It is our main event. Steve Mazzagatti is your referee. And again, appreciate you guys. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, I will not be streaming as much of the UFC save. I will be streaming the W3 save, though. And I'll also be streaming, any other games that I choose to play. I recently came in contact with a mobile game that is pretty cool. Kind of works similarly to WMMA 5. I might be streaming it a little bit later on today as I'm recording this. But yeah, I believe it's called, what's that thing called? It is called MMA Project MMA. First round coming to an end. Not much going on. Big strike. Woodley is knocked out cold. Ladies and gentlemen, now on a 5-fight winning streak. The natural-born killer, Carlos Condit, 4:03 into round number 1, and he gets it done. And TYRON Woodley has retired from MMA after that loss. 3 straight losses, and that'll do it for TYRON Woodley. Carlos Condit still going at it, though. TYRON can go on to box Jake Paul now, essentially. Crazy. A lot of split decisions on this card. As we go ahead and move along, let's see who wins our bonuses here today. We had that fantastic fight on the prelims, Carpenter and Sasaki. Love to see it. First round performance bonuses for Condit, Jakashi, Dariush. We also got Torres. We've got Eugene Sandoval, all getting 100K. I love to see it. We made a small loss on this show, actually. Jakashi, the highest paid fighter by far, at nearly $700,000. After that, Dominic Cruz, Ryan Hall, TYRON Woodley, all making over $200,000. You love to see it, the fighters getting paid. Like I mentioned, the next fight card is going to be Rockhold versus Davis. That should be an interesting main event. Appreciate you guys for watching, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch. Links are down in the description for all of that good stuff. Please, if you would like to support me even further, consider contributing to my Patreon. Link is down in the description for that as well. Appreciate you guys as always. I will see you at the fights.